Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. What an amazing session I have lined up for you. If you are a new seller or someone looking to get started on Amazon, but you're not actually sure how to do product research, you're not actually sure how to identify a profitable product opportunity, this is for you. So this is a hour-long session myself and Alex did with a student of ours where we jump on, we answer his questions, and we actually find a number of profitable product opportunities as well. So this is how easy it is, folks. You need to jump in, take notes. Any questions down below in the comments, I will answer them. Alex will answer them, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Enjoy.
No worries.
Right, folks, hello and welcome back. So I hope you're all doing really well. We're here on a training call, and what we're going to do actually is just a little bit of product research. I think that's what's really cool. I think that really is what helps people, right? Now there was two ways. I don't know if you see this call there previously, but there was two ways of doing it. One, we used Keepa and actually went into that and actually found potential products in Keepa. I'll show you how I did that. So if you guys have downloaded Keepa, you can do it this way, or we can do it. I won't say the old-fashioned way, but the original way inside Amazon. But let me just have a look at this now. So the top best product, best sellers, and I always like, let's go with home and kitchen, right? We're going to adjust this to be a bit bigger. 5,000. That's working away. We're going to go into home and kitchen inside Amazon, and we're going to have a wee look, right? Or rather, do you know what? Inside Amazon, we'll do sports and outdoors. So we'll have two different categories we're looking at, right? Okay, so what we're doing now at the moment is we're just at the very, very top of an Amazon category, right? So it's very unlikely we'll find a product here that, you know, we want to actually sell, or one that we could actually move off and find another potential item, because it's just so very, very, very competitive, right? Let's just go and click on, for example, American football, right? Now we're in the UK, so there mightn't be too much of demand for American football, but nonetheless, let's just go in there and have a look. And let's just go to training equipment. Let's see where we're getting more niche now. So you notice there's actually smaller products. And we're actually back, funny enough. It's funny, right? You have to be mindful of this too. When you do research for a while, sometimes you end up back in the same category as you found previous products subconsciously. I don't know what it is, but nonetheless, I'm looking at this here, right? And I can just see a few different products, right? Now I know there's probably going to be a lot of different, let's see, different sort of jerseys and things like that. So basically, we won't really worry about that, because I think you'll find they'll be very competitive, right? Items here that I would look at would be this one. I'd look at this one here, particularly. It's not a great image, so I think we'd look at that one. Just keep scrolling down. As you can see, there's actually a lot of jerseys, right? Look at this item. This item. So you kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just finding random items, like there's not too many of them. I'm just gonna keep scrolling down here. That item. This item. No, this may not be. We may be gone too far. Leak-proof underwear for women. Nah, you never know. That could be an area to look at. Let me see. We'll keep moving here. Right. Let's just go back. Let's look at what we got so far. Right. So, speed resistant parachute. So let me just type in here. Let's have a look at the BSR first of all. Yeah, BSR is fine. Nice steady sales, very low cost stuff. So probably too low of a cost directly on this item, but nonetheless, we may be able to put a twin pack or something like that. So speed, resistance. Shoot this up. Okay, straight away. So I see here there's 2,000 results, which is, it's not too high, but it's not as low as I would like it. 2-pack. So there's a twin pack. That probably just increases the resistance. So I'm just going to mute my phone here. 1 second.
What's your optimum number of results that you're looking for, Peter?
I will tell you now. I'll give you numbers. Right. I'll speak about this momentarily. You just text me there, and everyone else is texting me as well. It really depends on the market, right? So sometimes we find results here of around like on the main search term, right? So like it wouldn't be like speed resistance parachute. That's fairly specific, right? 2000 probably getting on slightly high, but inside this we could find a different version or a different product. Remember what I was saying earlier, that sometimes there'd be a different product inside this that's different than all the rest. Maybe one that's selling really well, and in which case that would change everything. And that would be like, well, I could go for that one. But here now at the moment, they're all the same, right? So straight away, like I wouldn't want to sell this product as it stands now because I'm be competing with all these other ones, right? Now, one thing I would look at potentially is just the twin pack here, just to see, because it is slightly different. Where is it gone? Here. Let's have a look at that. Just keep scrolling down. Okay, so that's kind of as far as I want to go on that. Let's just see this twin pack. Let's have a look here, right? Dispatch from the US. It's not been there too long. So we've no data, right? So that could be an interesting product, right? The twin pack. Did you see where we're coming at this, right? So basically, at the moment, everything there is a single pack, right? There's one item that's a twin pack, but it's sold from Amazon in the US. And it's only started being sold recently, which means we don't have enough data to figure out, like, is there demand for it? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Amazon.com. I'm just going to have a look at this, right? So let's change me to .co.uk. Amazon.com. Let's give us a zip code. Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to look up twin sports parachute. Let's see now.
Resistance, right?
Yeah, resistance parachute. We'll see how it's selling here. Is it popular here? Bet you it is. Just guess. Yeah, it's selling quite well in the US, right? Selling really well. At the moment, there's no one in the UK selling that item, right? Now, to me, that's a little bit of a wild card because I don't have data in the UK on that item selling well in the past. But what I can do is if I look at other items, let's just make sure my plugin is working here. It should be. I don't know why I turned off there. See what the BSR is for everything else. Load up here. There we are. This one here at $9.99 is selling really well. This one here, 35,000 BSR is fine. That doesn't have a good BSR.
Where are the sales figures?
Pardon?
Where are the sales figures?
It won't give us the sales figures. We have to just kind of work it out from just like the bestseller rank, like how it's doing. Like, so bestseller rank of 35,000. It is selling a few units, and there's no problem. Like, it will sell out. And that one's selling even a lot more, right? Thing is, that probably wouldn't cost much more to manufacture. Like, and I reckon if you put it with that, you know, maybe $14-15.99, you would get sales. So that'd be kind of like a wild card product because I don't have the previous sales data in the UK. All I can take it on that it's selling well in the US, right? So I kind of mark that as a potential, but it's kind of like maybe. I wouldn't be my first product just because I don't have the data in the UK of whether people want it. Because sometimes in different markets, there's different interests. Do you understand me?
Yep.
So sometimes people in one market might buy something whereas people in another market won't. That's still a very interesting product. And it just shows you how quickly we found a potential opportunity. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was just
Okay.
thinking, you really want some kind of influencer running through
I
TikTok
know.
and
No, honest to
Instagram
God,
using it, don't you?
you wouldn't. Honest to God, anyone can do it. Like, it doesn't need to be a influencer. It's about the product. Like, it is quite low
Yeah,
cost too. And
I
you,
mean, like, but some kind of like, it was I'm just thinking it would be really good with a video. Just like you just want
oh
someone to,
yeah, power.
a bit some bit of viral content to get it moving.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Let me just see, like that is selling a lot. So I'd find it hard to believe that if you put another one in at around 15.99 or 14.99 with the twin pack, that someone wouldn't buy it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's a little bit extra, but
yeah,
it's like more resistance, more strength, more training. So it's just an
yeah.
option, and that was an Amazon choice, right? For speed resistance parachute, we'd be coming in with a twin pack, right? Which would offer better value, and I wouldn't think it would be that expensive to make. You know what I mean? It's lightweight. It can be folded small. It wouldn't take up much extra space. So it's just a potential product, right? Here's
Uh-huh.
Alex. I'm gonna let him in. But yeah, well, let's find something. Let's find something better though, nonetheless.
Okay.
Hello, Alex.
Hey guys. Hey Tom, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Alex. How
Nice
are
to
you?
meet you. I'm good. I'm gonna keep my camera off. My internet's been a bit dodgy. I've just had a bit of a nightmare trying to get logged in and stuff. So I'm hoping the internet stays stable.
I will. I was saying we just found one potential product, Alex, which is but I'll show it to you here now, right? It's a speed resistance parachute, right? Now at the moment, like, it's not the biggest market, but there's still results and there's still sales, but it's a bit low cost. But there's this one version which is a twin pack, right? But it's selling from the US at £26.50, right? But in the US, it's selling really well. And I imagine if you brought that into the UK and probably put it at like 14.99 with a twin pack, or even, like, because it wouldn't cost that much extra, you would get sales. But I was just saying to Tom that it wouldn't be my first choice because we don't have UK data on it. It'd be like, it'd be a maybe down the line. If I wanted something to bring in, I'd probably consider bringing it in, but it wouldn't be my first choice. But I could see a potential market for it because you would stand out from all the other ones in the marketplace, and you'd just be offering this, obviously, UK fulfilled.
Yeah, I just echo what you said then. Just yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. Especially if you've got no data to go off in the current marketplace. That's probably the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Listen, we
We've
found
done products before which, you know, they sell really well in one market and then not so good in others. And then other products will do really good in both markets. But if you've not got the data there, it's kind of hard to make an informed decision.
especially with
If
the
you
first
took that
product.
on board, if you took that on board and you discovered it wasn't selling in the UK market, could you sell it in the US market and just have it like
Mm,
just to kind of like to shift it? Would that work?
you
Could, but
with the problem with that product is if you're buying it, sorry, if the retail price is between 15 and £20, I'd hazard a guess that, let's say for example, the unit cost from a supplier was like $4 or $5 plus the
Yeah.
shipping, plus the duties and tax. By the time you'd paid that initially and got it into your first choice of marketplace, say it was the UK, and then it
Mm,
wasn't selling, I think
yeah.
you would struggle then moving it to a different marketplace while staying
You'd be
profitable.
paying it all again. Yeah.
yeah.
Then it would literally cancel out and wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah. 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 Got you. Got you. Yeah.
Whereas, say for
Yeah.
example,
Okay.
if it was a product that was like £100, then maybe that would be a different conversation. But because this is only, £25 or less, I think you'd be touching at cloth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, to interrupt that conversation, but this is an interesting product. Inflatable soccer dummy goalkeeper, right?
Yeah.
If I just
I
type
can
it
think
in,
of two customers already.
yeah, but wait to see this, right? If I search for that right now, I know I'm in sport. No, let me just change to all departments, right? 205 results, right? Here's one at 19.99. Here's one at 20. Let me just click into this one now, 28.79, right?
Yeah.
They're not really counting because they're all own fulfillment. We seem to be finding a lot of stuff in sports at the moment, Alex, don't we? in goals, it all seems to be in goals.
Yeah,
Like,
especially in this. Yeah. There's been some little pockets of gold we've actually found, which is interesting. You'll notice, Tom, like a lot of some of the products we come across, sorry, are like they do make you laugh, some of them, and you actually realize like there are products like this that sell tens, maybe even hundreds of units a day on Amazon, and you sat wondering like, oh my, like Amazon is such a big platform, it is ridiculous.
Really,
Yeah.
you're only competing with this one here. Because this one here is at 28.79, but like the reality is there's only one left in stock. And looking at it here, what was it here? Let's look at this. It's been around a long time, but like it's not really been in stock. So
All right. Okay.
I don't really. And is it a good list? It's not the best listing either. Like, and there's no video, so I wouldn't even heed that one really. Like, to be honest with you, this is the one you're competing with.
So just explain why. Just explain to Tom like why that's the only one we're competing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. This is
let me go
moving a
back.
bit too
Sorry.
fast.
Yeah, Tom. Sometimes I just run away in my head. This is
No,
why I
no,
need
it's
to
all.
get
It's
better.
cool.
So basically, we've typed in, right? I think this is an interesting market, right? And this is one
Yeah.
that I think it's a nice product because it can be very small. Again, and so dummy
Oh
goal.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dummy goalkeeper is the primary search term, right? For this, I don't think, Alex, do you think of any other term? Inflatable goalkeeper, dummy goalkeeper. Would that be pretty right?
Yeah, so you want to basically pick the most generic key term that describes the product. So in this case here, I would say yes, it's dummy goalkeeper.
Right.
Or it
Now,
could be, but it could also be, but it could also be variations of that. So it could be mannequin goalkeeper or air mannequin goalkeeper or something. But for this example, I would just go dummy goalkeeper. Yeah.
and either way, right, the results are 205, which means there's flip ball competition, right? When we go into it, then we have a look, right? So we see this, we're set to a UK postcode, in this case, Innerleithen, and there's Prime delivery, which is Amazon fulfilling the order, right? Straight away, we see there, that is FBA. That's what we're going to be competing with, right? These other ones here, 28.79, 37.61. First of all, random prices, which means someone's not really concentrating too much on that, right? Also, look at the delivery time. People aren't prepared. If you're buying a dummy goalkeeper, like you want it soon. You don't want it the Friday the 9th of June, right? So they're not going to get many sales at all, right? We scroll down.
Right. Okay.
There's just more really expensive ones. This one comes with a pump. But again, not really, much going on there, right? In terms of an offer. Scroll down more. Again, here's another one, like, but again, you pay extra for delivery, no good.
This is Tom. This is kind of like where once we've searched dummy goalkeeper in, it's almost like trying to look at this through the eyes of a customer. So like we're trying to analyze now, like, right, what would a customer see if they typed in dummy goalkeeper, and like what would they be thinking? Because some markets you could go into and you would search the generic key term and you would see such a confused marketplace, and the person who is coming on here to find whatever product they've searched for doesn't know what size they want, doesn't know if they want a multi-pack, a single pack, different sizes. So this is a really good example of a good size market, because if, for example, we search dummy goalkeeper in the search bar and it's come back with 205 results, for me, anything less than 1,000 search results, that's kind of like a tick in the box to move to the next stage. And then the next stage is looking at, right, okay, what competition are we looking at here? Because one thing Amazon will do is it won't just show you, like it's shown us here, it won't just show you dummy goalkeepers. It'll show you, there's a football training net there, which someone's obviously put some money behind for advertising because it's a sponsored post. Well, if you scroll down a bit, Peter, you'll see all sorts of different other products that are related to dummy goalkeepers. See, others, we've got different agility ladders, we've got all sorts. So it's kind of up to us to decide, right, realistically, how many other sellers are we competing with here? And just by like a process of elimination, we can decide, right, are we competing with, first of all, we competing with anybody else who is selling with Prime fulfillment? Because if we're not, that for me is the first big aha moment. That's like, right, if all these products are all merchant fulfilled, if you came in with an Amazon fulfilled product, you would absolutely kill it if you had a better product as well. Like, because people like this, people want the free next day delivery rather than having to wait till mid-June to get their goalkeeper or whatever. And this is probably the reason why this particular product has the Amazon Choice Badge. For that very reason. So that this is a good market because of that.
Yep.
Now, in terms of like this, obviously, then this one here is, as Alex said, this is the only prime one, right? I did find another one, but it was only one
Yeah.
unit. It wasn't really selling. So this is the only prime one. So like,
So
there's
those two
competition.
listings on the top, they're the same
Same product.
listing.
This
Yeah.
one
So
Right,
here,
like,
yeah.
what's going on
Sponsor.
here is, oh, go on, you
That's the
explain, Peter.
sponsored result, and then there's the one.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, got you. Got
Exactly.
you.
So basically, they're sponsored. I reckon they're not spending a lot of money on the sponsorship, and they're at the top, right? But
Yeah.
then they're also at the top here because
Right.
they're the flipping well only product doing it, basically. So
Yeah.
Amazon, they're at the top regardless of spending sponsorship. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we click here, that we cost them money. We just cost them some money. So, if we look at the listing, right? Let's have a look here. Let's go.
So, yeah.
Go on there. Sorry, go on. Please do.
So who's actually selling this? Like, it's like a Chinese, what's it called? Trading house.
Let me see. Can I tell you?
Shanghai
Is it?
XU.
Oh, here they are. Here, from China.
Yeah.
It's a Chinese business that's selling that. Yeah, now you'll see that a lot, but that's actually good because generally you can usually compete with them. because you usually
Shangyu
create a better
plastic products.
offer.
Right. Yeah, got you.
Yeah. I mean, the listing, to be honest with you, I don't think the listing is actually that bad.
No.
Like, it's got quality images, quality bullet points, a title that clearly describes what the product is. This is probably worth going and getting pricing for, I would say. I mean, it's probably worth actually looking before you do that, like looking at like, well, how could you stand out?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, you could first of all go into the ratings and reviews, and you could have a look at what people may be complaining about. So, like other people have already done, other people have already included a pump, which is the most, to me, it's the most logical thing to include for one of these things,
Well, yeah.
or or like maybe even a carry bag or something like that. Sometimes when people are thinking of like what bonus items they could include to make the offer more superior, a lot of people jump to carry cases or carry bags straight away. And to me, sometimes it can be a little bit lazy. And you've got to ask yourself, does a carry bag or a carry case, like, is that actually going to add value to the customer? Like, you wouldn't necessarily include a carry case for, you know, if let's say, for example, if the main product was a carry bag for a pair of jump start leads for a car or something, you wouldn't have that stored in a carry bag as well, kind of thing, which I've seen people do, and I think it's quite lazy. But for this, if it doesn't already specify that it does come with like a carry bag or a carry case or something like that to do with football,
Yeah.
it might be worth considering.
Yeah.
The pump is obviously an interesting one. Maybe even some cones for, like, you know, like
Cones is not bad,
like cones are good because they're cheap to manufacture, they're lightweight.
It might
and
be a bit too
nobody's
big
doing
though,
that.
Alex. Do you know what I think could work well with this? Just reading the reviews. Some sort of wee weight, or like, you know, sand or something. I know that increases the weight, but doesn't matter really too much if it's not a lot. I wouldn't take a lot of sand. We're just talking a small bit because people say it blows over.
Yeah,
What
interesting.
about yeah, I wonder if you could use a peg or something just to hammer it into the grass.
But then you probably have to design. You have to change the design. You have to put clips on the side of it, and then that would be difficult. But it is an interesting thing because, like, if you improve this offer or design, yours would outsell, and you could charge more. So definitely think it's an interesting item to get pricing on. And people say
I noticed that. Yeah, someone was a bit annoyed by that the first picture, because it suggests you're getting 6, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're very clearly.
It does. That's a little bit misleading. But do you know what? The one good thing about I will give this image, right? Although I'm not, this will actually go against. For some reason, you will see images on Amazon where the first main image is not a white background native image, and I'm fairly sure, unless Amazon have changed their terms of service now,
haven't.
It used to be against their terms of service that you had to have a white background image. And I've seen a lot of people using lifestyle looking images as their main image, but I still think you need to have a white background image. But the thing that they've done well here is, which is interesting actually for images, the colors contrast very well. So the green is opposite to red, which pops out straight away, which catches your eye.
Yeah.
The only misleading thing is, like you say, it does look like you're getting 6 of them in a pack when you're in fact only getting 1, but it still does its job. It's still an interesting image.
And would there be
Yeah.
a potential here too, Alex, for a twin pack? Because I've seen someone saying I'd love to have 2.
Definitely, that's
Yeah,
another
I
thing to
mean,
explore.
if lots of, because when you think about it, actually, like, go. I mean, obviously, if you've got a really small garden, you'll have like, one little goal. But lots and lots of goal sets for kids are sold as twin packs, obviously, because you got one at each end of your wee lawn.
Yep.
So if you sell 2 goalies,
Yep, 100%. I would agree with that.
In 2 different colours.
Definitely. I would agree with that. I would agree that people would buy. It would be logical for somebody to buy a multi-pack or even a 3-pack or something. I mean, it's not just people with gardens, like at houses, that would look at buying this. Let's say, for example, somebody was looking at buying these for like a football team or something, or like a club. They would be definitely looking at buying more than one of these items in one go.
yeah, yeah.
So I think there's potential here for improvement. We'd have to figure out, first of all, what it's going to cost to get them made. I figure out, like, in terms of what people are saying is wrong with them. So they do need some way of inflating them. Maybe they inflate them manually, but a pump could be very handy if it's very low cost. People want, like, I'd pay an extra 5, 6, 7 quid just to get the pump and get the weights, because I'd be like, this is an inferior offer. Do you know what I'm saying? I want the premium offer. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yep.
So definitely look into that. I think this is one worth exploring as well. So, like, we've come on now. We've been on, I don't know how long. Let me see. We've been researching for 25 minutes, and we found, like, there's potential here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really interesting, actually. That's good.
So let's
cool.
let's just do another trick now, right? I have other ones. First of all, actually, no, do you know what? I'll just move on for a minute, right? Let's X out of this one, right?
One thing as well, you'll probably start to notice when you get better and better at research, Tom. You'll notice when you find a product like we just found, that dummy goalkeeper. Usually, when you find a product like that is like a potential go ahead for pricing, in that same area, you will find more products that are similar in terms of like potential for improvements, potential for you to go and get pricing for. And you just find these pockets of opportunities everywhere. But it can sometimes take, a good, it could take a bit of time to find where those nuggets are. But once you start to find them and you know where to look for them, you'll come across them every single day.
That's what I was going to say, Alex. I actually found this off that product listing.
Perfect. Unreal.
I mean,
having said that as well, for me, sometimes it has taken me, like, it's sometimes doing product research the way we show you, can sometimes at the start feel like you're pulling teeth. Like, it be like you're like, oh god, I can't find a product, I'm not making any progress. And sometimes, it is nice just to step away from it and decide, you know what, I've done an hour's product research, half an hour's product research, I'm going to step away for a bit. But just know that, like, a product could literally be around the corner, especially when you're looking in the products related to section on a product page, because there's literally pages and pages and pages of opportunities everywhere. And all it takes is one click, 2 clicks to find a potential product. It's crazy once you start getting down to these little kind of crazy, weird sub niches that no one really knows about.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what's encouraging, because there must be an almost infinite number of these sub niches.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is a point where it gets a little too sub niche. Like, not in some cases, it can go sub niche where the market isn't big enough for what we're doing. So then it's like a question of, okay, is it worth pursuing it? Do we have the demand to make this business work? And if that's the case, then it might be worth coming up a level to something that is a little bit more broad in terms of how big the market is. But obviously, then it can work the other way. So if you're trying to find products and you're looking at products that are super highly ranked and they're selling literally thousands every single day, and they're ranked, in the top 1,000 inside home and kitchen, inside the main category, that could be a little bit of a potential, a bit dangerous to go into, because it could be too competitive. And then you're literally going to be I mean, your products probably will sell, but you don't want to end up in a place where you have to be pushing your products to sell them, i.e., putting a ton of marketing advertising spend behind them, and, like, giving products away in return for reviews, which I've seen a lot of people say that you should do, which I've never done or recommend.
Service.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm just
The
researching
thing
here.
is, what the thing with Amazon is like once you start to get a handful of reviews, then sales really start to improve.
That's what I was.
So I mean, if you look at
That was one thing I was going to ask. How do you, when you list a new product? Okay, so you've gone through the process, you've sourced your product, you list it, it's up for sale. How do you get around that thing of not having any reviews when you start? Does that is there?
there isn't really a way. Well, there isn't really a way around it of modesty. In like, I've never when I don't think they do it anymore, but Amazon used to have an early reviewers program, which is what it was called. And what you used to do was you could apply for this review program on certain products that you sold. And what Amazon would do is Amazon would prompt the customer themselves to leave a review on your product, and they would charge you for that, like per review or something. Of a jump start out the gate, basically, when you first started selling a product. But I
Yeah.
don't think they do that anymore. But to be honest with you, I've never asked somebody to review products. I've never given away products in return for reviews. But it almost just you have to just wait for reviews to come in. But it's like a snowball effect because once you start getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then those 5 then lead to more sales, then you're just opening up the door to even more reviews. And then obviously once you get past say 50 or even 100 reviews, then that's it, you've cracked it. Like that's enough proof for someone to decide, right, this is a good product. Because I mean, if you look at how maybe you buy products on Amazon, I know for instance for me, I base my buying decision if it's something that I am buying for the first time, I'll base my decision on the images and the reviews. That's just what my brain goes to. It goes to the image and it goes to right, how many other people have bought this and actually like it, and I'll narrow it down to maybe 1, 2, or 3 products because
Yeah.
if a product has got thousands of reviews, you like well other people like it, so it's probably a good product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the same with every product, right? Or every buying decision. Once we get some social proof, it's just a matter of just time. It just keeps going.
Yeah. So it's just really just a matter of waiting for that to kind of organically evolve into.
Yeah, I mean, there will be people that will say, that you can. Sorry, there will be people that will say that you can pay them to get reviews and stuff, but honest to God, it's not worth the risk. Amazon's back end of how their tech and everything works on their website is so clever, and even if they notice changes, say for example, you had 2 Amazon accounts in your household or in close proximity, and you gave your neighbor, you told your neighbor you were selling such a product and they went and bought it and reviewed it or something, or even somebody who was living in your house. I'm fairly confident Amazon is fairly switched on to this stuff. And if they realize what's going on, they will just shut your account down and any account associated with it. So it's not even worth the risk. Because once that's gone, I think it'd be very hard to start up another account.
Because they do know IP addresses and everything else. It's just very tricky. It's just so it's not worth it, and you don't need to, as Alex said. Like what you can do.
You don't need to.
What you can do is you can put a card or something similar in with your product and says,
please review me.
Leave a review, but you can't say leave a positive review. It's just leave a review and this is how to do it. Or reviews help us make our products better. Not negative, not positive, just a review.
Or let us know what you think of our products. Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
what I mean? But you could shoot yourself in the foot. If the product isn't good, you could get a lot of negative reviews. You want to be sure it's good. You know what I mean? They want me to leave that negative review.
Yeah.
But anyways, look, moving on, folks. Here's another one, right? Again, I probably wouldn't go for this product out the bat, right? Because there's a lot of different products in it, right? This is someone that's quite established selling like these goal nets, and not the actual goal, just the net that goes on it. And their own fulfillment, but they are Prime, which means they do ship them pretty fast. I still think if you got someone selling this stuff FBA, they'd be quite busy. But there's a lot of different sizes there, so it's just quite interesting it'd be something to explore. I'd nearly explore that down the line, but it's just interesting. Just I want to just show that, and probably could do a better job of it eventually. Let me see now. Here's another product I found on the original product. So let me just show you how we did that. Right, if we go back to the goals here, right, I scrolled down, and then was it here? No, it wasn't here actually. No, I found it on the main page. But what you can do is see these products here. Customers who bought this also bought, right? This is where we're finding these
Right.
other products, right? And it's funny, as I said,
Yeah.
we're not aiming to come back to sports, but subconsciously I must be coming into this market every time. But it's the same in every market, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The products are the same, right? So you just
Yeah.
scroll over here and you just find, different products. So there's only 2 there, right? So let's go down 4 stars and above. So you can just see different products here and just gives you ideas.
Mhm.
So there's an
Yes.
inflatable. Let me just click on that one. 34.
And it's also it's also not so it's also quite common that when you're scrolling through the products related to section, you'll find that you can jump from market to market very fast. So you could go from looking at these gold dummies here, and you could end up in a completely different area of Amazon, like home and kitchen or gardening or something. Like somehow they've managed to say it's related, but those can sometimes be really good opportunities to jump into as well.
Mhm.
Sometimes.
Here's another one of the inflatable dummies.
So I hope we're not
No,
overwhelming
it's
you,
good.
Tom.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't understand. I don't quite understand all the graphs and so on that Keeper produces and so on. But I'm cool with just kind of like letting it kind of soak in, and
That's the best way.
eventually it'll kind of start to make sense. I feel I'm kind of getting every time I kind of listen to you guys, I get a wee bit more. So
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably a good point to actually point out for anybody else watching as well, that if you are watching this and you're finding product research sometimes a little bit monotonous or overwhelming, do what Tom just said and just almost accept, okay, fine, it might be a little bit confusing to start with, but just take a bit of a break, walk away from it for a little bit, let it soak in, come back to it, and you will master the process after a time of doing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a pair, isn't it? Have you found
No,
a pair?
it's not. It's one on its own. And to be honest with you, the store is very funny. It is own fulfillment, really. But then they have one fulfilled by Amazon. And the pricing's a bit all over the shop. And even here you can see it. So
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't really count it as a competitor. And I would kind of
The
just
competitor that they haven't got their act together.
I don't
So
feel they
basically,
have.
what you're
No,
looking at
I don't feel
a
that
lot
they're
of the
actually.
time when you're like trying to identify the amount of competition, you're just kind of like measuring the efficiency and togetherness of the other sellers, aren't you? You seem to be doing that quite a lot in terms of like the pricing and the presentation and all these things. That's kind of like a big part of your decision making process.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think what we should do, Peter, we should make a video, like a special training list, which is not actually in the course or the updated course which you're currently making. And maybe it'd be better if we actually explained our thought process, or like when we're actually looking at products and markets. So you guys could almost use it as like a checklist. Because for me, when I come into a market, there's a certain number of steps that I go through, like mentally in my head, to give the product an all clear to go to the next stage. For first things, like we said, was if we search the generic key term in the search bar and it comes up with less than 1,000 search results, to me that's a tick in the box. And that's
Yeah.
opened the door then to go and look at the market on a bigger scale. If it's more than 1,000, I'll still look at the market, but I'll look at it with a different set of eyes, because usually if something comes back with more than 1,000 or 10,000 results or something, you're a bit like, that's probably too confusing. And more often than not, that is the case. Whereas if you've got 100 search results that come back, then that's very eye-opening, very interesting. And then once you're looking at the market as a whole, so like we go back to this dummy mannequins we were talking about them, I'll then be analyzing, okay, how many other competitors are selling something similar to what I want to sell, and then I'll start looking at that. And usually I will be looking for something less than 5 other sellers selling a similar item, because then that gives me the tick in the box to say, okay, there is enough demand in this market, as well as obviously the BSRs being decent on at least 1 or 2 of the sellers, because then we know, okay, there's a market leader here, and then there's other sellers as well that are also taking their slice of the pie. That's another thing to note as well. But obviously, if there's only one person in a market, then I'm also thinking, okay, well, is this market big enough? And then you start looking at the keeper charts and you start looking, okay, what's the sales volume of this product? How long have they been selling for?
Mhm.
I think this is actually a video. We should make this video, Peter, like a very specific video on like our thought process when
I
it
think it'll be
comes
very
to
helpful.
yeah, because I don't think we've actually done that on like a deep level. I think that would help a lot of people.
Yeah,
Kind of like a flow chart, isn't it? You
Exactly.
need to
Yeah.
make
Exactly.
that could be really exciting. That could be an exciting project, Alex. Put that together for people.
Definitely.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
let's do it. You were
Sales,
asking.
sales volume. Just to sorry to jump in there. Sales volume. You assess that from the keeper metrics, the keeper information. Is that right, or where does that come from?
So sales
So you can.
volume. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah, go on.
Alex.
Yeah,
You go.
sales
No, you take
volume.
it. You take it,
No,
Alex.
you answer.
It's hard when I can't see you because I'm not going to go good answer now. So BSR, that's where I take it from, bestseller rank. So what I would do, say on this item
Bestseller
here, well, this isn't a great example, but basically you can see here the bestseller rank. It's not selling a lot, and that's because I suspect that was own fulfillment. Whereas you can see here,
Yeah.
it drops down because it's FBA, and then it's back own fulfillment
Okay.
here. So it's kind of the
Yeah,
price.
yeah. So the lower that green line goes, the more it's selling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The
Yeah.
lower that goes, it's the more it's selling, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the higher that is, the less it's selling. And that if that's a low line and consistent, that's where I'm
Yeah.
confident that there's sales been made there. And it's just
Yeah.
consistent, it's average, like it's not bouncing up and down. Like I wouldn't like this at all. But prices are changing. This is not a good listing to be looking at it. Let me see if I go back to
Yeah.
even,
So
even this one
there's
here.
although the BSR on that is not great, but you're reckoning that there are reasons for that,
I do,
and it's
yeah.
to do with
Like I'm not saying that's the product to go for.
fulfilled and
I'm just saying it's worth getting pricing to get an idea where we come at. It's worth looking at
Yeah.
that. Like that product at the moment, the competing product is 19.99, right? Like if we were able to
Yeah.
come in and with a superior offer and still sell at 19.99, like logically, we would get sales. And then there's no competition
Yeah.
anyway, versus with other listings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'd be safe.
Yeah.
So let's get pricing on it and then let's see. If we look at this listing here, like look at that BSR, it's much lower and it's consistent. And then it
Yep.
goes up a little bit, but it's not like gone mad. So that item's just selling really well all the time. Like here, it was virtually selling crazy here. When was that? 12th of December. So come up to Christmas. Crazy sales. Like it was selling a lot per day. They're doing thousands a day there. I can tell you, like, that's what I'd be looking at there. So if you look at this, right, we have a video on this. I must try and send it to you. You can see the pricing, see the third-party FBM filled by merchant, new 56.99 again as well, and the buy box 66.98. They're FBM as well, actually. It's just the way the pricing's shown. They're different pricing for different offers on this listing. Because on Amazon, you don't own the listing. Amazon owns it, and anyone technically can sell under the listing. But when we private label a product, it's our private label, so no one else should have that private label, which means that protects the buy box for us, right? So you can see the pricing there, right? And you can see that's consistent pricing, right? It doesn't change. And we can see there also the sales rank. That's the BSR. So we can see 340. It's the 340th most popular item in sports and outdoors on Friday, the 10th of December at 9:35 a.m. So you can see it's really popular, right? And you can see the reviews, the number of reviews, 490, and rating 4.4. So you can just see, gives you a snapshot of that product for its life. If it was seasonal, as I showed you earlier on with the Christmas tree, you can see that going up and down. Or we can see with this item, like, look, it's a bit seasonal, but overall, it's fairly consistent. There's plenty of sales all year round. I wouldn't mind what time of the year I ordered this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. Got that.
So, anyways, what I was getting to previously, anyways, was that back here, we were in that we had a look for, and we found some other potential products. So one of them was this. So the sports agility, strength training, fitness, speed sled. So I don't even know what that is. Let me just have a look at it.
That's that thing that you pull along.
Possibly.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Sales are kind of steady. Like there's sales happening. But let me just see now. Sports agility. This might be an item to go any further with. I don't think, but let's just explore it. 240.
So you've only got 240.
Yeah,
but that's encouraging.
Would that be the search term, Alex? Would it? Resistance, drag. There'll be a sports drag.
Shows
Six.
the I'd probably call it just power sled or sports sled or fitness sled, something like that.
Sports.
Or hang on, which products are you actually looking at? The triangle one here, this triangle product.
This one here. The red one.
Yes, I'd probably call it a fitness sled. Let me just go on Google and see what other people are calling it. I would call it a fitness sled or a look. Oh, I tell you what I can use. I've got Ahrefs. I can use Ahrefs. One sec. That'd be really useful for us.
And it mightn't be an item to
Let me just see
proceed
what
with, but it could
people
be.
are searching. Fitness sled. Sled weight. Sled.
Do you know, just looking at it here, its own fulfillment, right? FBM with Prime, right? It is selling a certain amount of units. I'd just be wary that we'd be able to make enough on it to get consistent sales. But if the
Those
pricing was good, I reckon coming in with FBA
Yeah.
would be good on this.
Mhm.
The only thing I'll say about that is I know because I'm obviously fairly heavily invested in the gym and stuff. Those sleds aren't small, and they're not
Mm.
light.
That's could be why it's FBM.
So that's probably why you're going to be seeing. That's probably why you're going to be seeing more sellers often than not selling with FBM their own fulfillment, because it could potentially be too expensive to fulfill Amazon FBA. Not always the case, but some people deem it not worth it because it's so. See that example there. That's £210. The Ram Sports Power Sled.
Hmm.
Even all those big triangle weights, like the ones that are like £400, £200. If the numbers work, fair enough. But as a first product, I think you're stepping into uncharted waters with that stuff just because of how big and bulky it is. It would be a nightmare.
You're probably right. You know, it's still interesting, but you're probably right for a first product, actually.
I'm
Either
only
way.
I'm only
Yeah,
saying that from
I heard the cautionary tale of the bit of the flat bench weights bench that you were.
yeah.
It sprung to
Yeah.
mind as Alex was talking.
So I've only just I was looking to say like I'm only telling that from experience.
Yeah, no, that is interesting because I think I'd like because the problem with that is like the scale and the storage costs that are associated with that based on the rate of sales, which might not be quite high enough to offset the cost of
Yeah,
warehousing and all that stuff that you pay Amazon for.
exactly.
This one is
Yeah.
this one here is is not suitable because it's customized for every order, so it's no good to us.
Right. Okay.
But we could have made improvements there, but we just can't do the customizing. Resistance.
That's smaller anyway, isn't it?
Is there resistance training?
You just hook it onto a wall or something, don't you? I guess.
Let's have a look here now. Just and that says over 20,000 results for that, and then
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
No.
No, I think we'd leave that. But let's see what the sales are like for the crack. Sales aren't even that good, really. Like they're there, but they're not consistent.
So just tell me why that wasn't very good. The sales.
Oh, sorry, I'll go back here.
You just zoom back
what
into the,
we'll
just
do,
so I know
Tom,
like the metrics.
What we'll do, Tom, was we'll make a video on Keeper as well because you're not the only person that asked about reading Keeper charts, and Peter's
Yeah.
Peter tends to go quite fast through things. So like what we're looking for here is
Sales rank.
if you zoom in slightly, can we zoom in on that? What you can do on the right there, can you see all those different color tabs?
Yeah.
So what we can do there is we can get at the minute. I always find that with Keeper, it's always super confusing to start with. Like, see all the categories on the right. We've got all these different color tabs that we can select and deselect, right? And what I would personally do to start with, I would say, for example, Peter, see the on the right there, we've got the category sales rank with all those green dots next to them. I would get rid of every single one apart from the main category, just so we've got one one line, right?
I think it's worth pointing out to Tom as well. They're the subcategories it's in.
Yeah, so you can see there straight away. That gives you a bird's eye view of like how far down we've come in different categories.
Right.
I would also then get rid of the top there when we've got all. Usually, you've got used pricing and stuff. I think is there.
It mustn't be a used person selling it.
Oh no, hang on. We can keep those. Yeah, you can probably keep those.
Yeah, I'd leave
new offer count. You can get rid of that as well.
Where's new offer count?
So sometimes keeper can be quite confusing. But what we're basically looking for is we're trying to look for a consistent line throughout the keeper chart. And a consistent line would show us that it's got a consistent sales history.
That sales rank that you're looking at mainly, Peter. That green line.
That's the green line. That's the sales rank. That's what I'm mainly looking at to see if it's consistent. You can see here, like this one is making
quite
sales,
high numbers,
but it does go quite high. So it's consistent. Like there's sales being made here, but it's not a product I'd be looking like I'm going to go for that because there's still too much of it jumping around. You want much smaller changes. You know, a couple of thousand here and there, but nothing major.
And what you can also do there as well is, I'm trying not to overwhelm or confuse anyone, but see that top chart there, we've got the sales rank and we've got the price. So sometimes you can compare the sales rank and the price. So sometimes you'll see sellers changing the price quite a lot, and then it's really easy to see if the price change affects the sales rank. Because sometimes if people drop prices, you'll see the sales rank also increase or decrease or get better, and then obviously that affects the sales rank, that affects the everything. So it's almost trying to like understand how to look at these metrics together and create an informed decision from that. But sometimes just looking at this from a bird's eye view, you can tell straight away from looking at a keeper chart, right, this is an okay sales history. And then you also have to take into account as well, if you go down a bit, Peter, and you can see the date range. So you can see here, this guy's been selling for a long time, 1,553 days. That's a long time. Whereas sometimes you'll come onto these charts and you'll find you're looking at a product that's literally a month old, and then you start to question, well, there's probably not really enough data to make an informed decision off there, and that's something you've kind of got to use your experience and gut feeling with, and kind of common sense as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to go off anything that's been selling for a couple of months. You need the more sales data you can get, the better, really, because then we can also look at seasonality of a product. Like if a product's been selling for 1,500 odd days, we've got years of history to look at, and we can really see, right, are there certain times of the year when this product sells better than others? Is it consistent throughout the year? And those sorts of things.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really interesting.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what we'll do, Tom, is we'll make a video just on Keeper, because you're not the only person to ask.
Well, actually, I have one recorded, Alex. I must go and pull it out. But I think it could actually it could go in really well with us doing maybe like something like a flow chart or something for just like research in terms of like do this, then think this, then think that, and if this is this, just to kind of narrow it down a bit more, because a lot of it's qualitative, or it's not quantitative. It is quantitative in our heads, maybe, but there's a little bit of art to it. But we want to kind of just make it a little bit more scientific for people. You know, I think people are kind of getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Just see this here now. What is this? This is a interesting product. Actually, no, it's not. It's not selling well at all. But it's from the US. It's advertising your wins and your runs.
It's all about sports tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's been all about sports a lot of the nights we've come on, and that wasn't my intention. I just ended up there because I know I started with Keeper with Home and Kitchen, but I just ended up here. But look, it is fine. Nothing wrong with it. Let me see here now. Nah, there's nothing really there at all. But you know what, lads? I think we've had a really good session.